Hello, everyone. My name is always Asmal. Welcome to another episode of Two Ways to Skin a Cat, a show where we talk career experiences, entrepreneurship, and investments. The main aim is to show that there's more than one way to be successful other than just climbing the corporate ladder. We are live on LinkedIn and YouTube, and the show will be available on podcast by tomorrow morning. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and click on that notification bell to get automatically notified when the next episode comes out. If you're joining us live, please drop a 1 in the comments so that we know we're not talking to ourselves, and drop a 2 in the comments if you're watching the recording. My guest for this week is Masibulele Phesa, chartered accountant and lecturer at Walter Sisulu University. He's also currently a PhD candidate, and is it last year that he completed his master's cum laude in 1 year? So killing it on the records here, making the rest of us look bad. Masibulele, thanks so much for joining me today.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for the invite. Thank you very much.
Let's jump straight into questions. Tell us your story. Where do you come from? And even outside of work, who is Masibulele Phesa?
All right. Thanks very much. Thanks. Yes. First of all, I think thanks for the invite. Yes. I am Masibulele Phesa. Yes. I come from Bizana. So a small town somewhere in Eastern Cape. I think it's the last town to Durban if you are taking that other direction. Yes, the coastal side, yes. So I come from Bizana. Then I started, then I went to Forte for BCom accounting. That's 2011 to 2013. Then I did a bridging course 2014. Then 2015, then I started my articles. Also when I was doing the CTA at UNISA, that's 2015. Then of course, things didn't go well. Then in 2016, I repeated, yes, which it was fine then. Then 2017, then I wrote both boards, then passed at least, then I was happy then. Then I got signed off in January 2018. Then, when the results came out, in fact, the results came out in February 2018, yes. So I was so happy that I made it, yes. That's my journey, yes. Then about the RA program, that I was so interested on becoming the RA. Yes, so I so wanted to be an RA. Then fortunately, AG then was offering the ADP program, which is the audit development program. Yes, then I went through the program before I left AG to the lecturing job. Thank you.
Okay, so you went from not passing CTA to becoming a lecturer. That's full circle, eh? Full circle. But outside of work, who are you outside of work?
I think I'm out of work. Yes, I'm actually a triplet. I have two brothers. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So that's me. But outside of work, yeah, I just like spending my time exploring some opportunities. Of course, just explore some opportunities here and there. Seeing if I can even additional income if possible. Of course, outside of work. But my work, I chose to be in campus. So I'm just in campus now every day. That's what I chose to be. So I chose to be a student. I also chose to be at the same time the lecturer. So I'll forever be in campus for the rest of my life.
And I mean, I see you spent 5 years at the Auditor General. Why did you decide to go to the AG instead of maybe into public practice or into corporate?
Yes. All right. Thanks very much. Yes. I think, was it in 2014? 2014, yes. 2014 when I was doing the bridging program at Forte, and then I applied. Then fortunately, AG is the one then that gave me the opportunity to train. Because remember, I didn't have CTA. So AG then they gave me that opportunity so I could do CTA while I'm working, I'm doing my articles, yes. So that was then I felt in love with the audit during all those 3 years. It's a reason, therefore, then I wanted to be the RA. So also in the future, I can be able to be a pre-issuance reviewer if possible. Then if I want to open my firm, I can anytime open my firm. I can be able to explore outside. Yes, I can be able to be the partner. Because of course, if you must sign a report, you should have the RA. It's the reason that I got that one, yes.
The registered auditor designation, yes. And why did you decide to go into academia at that stage in your career? It looks like it was 2 years after articles, after you stayed on as a manager. Most people, if they know they're going to academia, straight after articles, straight to academia. You stayed on as a manager for a while, and then you made the switch. So talk us through why you made the decision at that stage in your career.
All right. I stayed on as an assistant manager, not the manager. Yes. So after I was signed off, because I was signed off before the results came out. the second board results. So then they gave me a contract. There's a contract that which is audit senior contract that they gave me. Then after that, then I got the assistant manager. But I think it's all about self-discovery, the journey of self-discovery. You'll notice that on my LinkedIn, I just posted something when the APC results came out. I was congratulating everyone and saying the journey of self-discovery have started. So what actually happened is that once you become a CA, so you need now to find out whether is that the kind of job you want to do for the rest of your life. For example, where you trained, you might have trained in SARS, you might have trained in auditing, or maybe in banking sector. But now you have to find out whether is that the kind of job you are comfortable with. Yes. So in my case, I was trying to figure out that now that I've got this license, I am a CA now. Can I really be an auditor for the rest of my life? That those were the questions. Yes. So I found that no, my passion was actually in academics because I was once a tutor, and I also opened, I think, a supplementary school somewhere in 2017. Yes, that where we were assisting students. Was things that didn't come easy for me, so I felt like no, I had to open the school so to assist those people, especially UNISA students who don't necessarily have the lecturer every day in front of themselves. So to start the school year. So it's when then my passion grew for becoming a lecturer. Then I felt like when the opportunity came, then let me join.
Okay. And for the audience, if anybody's got any questions for Masibulele, please add them to the comment section now. We will answer all the questions towards the end. Masibulele, I see you've lectured at Fort Hare, and now you're lecturing at Walter Sisulu University. So
yes.
Eastern Cape is clearly your home. For the young professionals who are maybe from the Eastern Cape, what opportunities are available for them in the province? Because most of the people, the first thing I see is they pack for Joburg or they pack for Cape Town, but there must be, if you say there must be opportunities.
Yes. I think it just comes from the fact that I come from Eastern Cape and I know the difficulties. So I felt like being at Forte, because Forte gave me an opportunity, of course, to join academics straight from audit to academics. Then that was good. But I felt like, no, because I started at Forte, so I wanted to get out of comfort zone, let me go elsewhere. Then I went to Walter Sisulu, which is also still in Eastern Cape. So I'm still comfortably here. I feel like Eastern Cape needs more people as a motivation, in fact, just as a motivation, first of all. Yes. So if you stay around, especially in academics, on daily basis, students see you, and I'm able to interact with them and contribute directly, on the profession in that level. Because I believe as we have the obligation as well to contribute and give back to the society. It can be in many ways. You can be a partner, you could be that good CFO on that corner, be that good CEO in that corner. But I decided then to contribute on a lecture level, which is on academic level. So meeting with students at their early stage of their lives, then trying to contribute. Maybe they will be motivated, of course, by my story and also by within the classes, then you are able to talk about their careers, where they want to go to. Yes, so in future about their background. So I understand their backgrounds better. So I believe Eastern Cape is still fine for me for now. Then if other opportunities, of course, come, I can go elsewhere. But at least after I've been in Eastern Cape, at least 2 institutions, maybe that will be better. Yes, thank you.
So it sounds like there are definitely opportunities available in the Eastern Cape.
Yeah, I think in Eastern Cape, yes. Eastern Cape, I think in Eastern Cape, to be honest, I think if you want to be an academic, of course, the institutions will give you, most of the CAs was a lot of young people, there are very few of them, in fact, who like being academics, because academic, first of all, is taken as a profession whereby, maybe in fact, it's a career whereby older people usually join the profession, yes. But lately, at least young professionals, more especially CAs, they are beginning to get through academics. And it works better, and it works as a motivation to the student, because at least we're not on that different age level. You see, there's not that different age gap. There's not that too much age gap with us, the young academics and students. So that maybe that can indirectly, influence them, maybe motivate them to become, CAs one day, yes. So, but I think in academics, there are opportunities, but also in audits, because I usually see, the firms here advertising Eastern Cape. So, but I feel like Eastern Cape, if you want to stay in Eastern Cape, it's a good place to be. If you then maybe until such time, then you feel like getting out of the province.
Okay, that's good. Like there's good opportunities. Last year I noticed quite a few universities around the country looking for accounting lecturers. There seems to be a lack of supply of people wanting to go into academia. Why is that, and how can we fix that?
Yes. I don't really think there are few universities offering the opportunity. Yes. I just feel like you have to keep on looking. I remember when I was looking for the post, I used to have press reader. So every Sunday I go on Sunday Times and look there for the lecture post. You see, every day I look on Daily Dispatch, I go UCS. So I think if you keep on looking, you will get the post there. Because first of all, at least for first entry level, they allow you as a CA. But it's just that when you want now to be a senior lecturer, you must have experience when you want to move the ranks. Because in lecturing, we've got junior lecturer, then a senior lecturer, associate professor, which is kind of is defined as an assistant professor. Then we've got full professor, which I'm looking there. I want to one day it's my dream to be a full professor. Yes. So I feel like if you keep on checking on the adverts, then someone of course might get the post of being a lecturer. Then you grab the opportunity with both hands. Then you become an academic. But there's one thing I think I should stress out. Maybe you say put that clear that I've noticed something. Academics are actually totally different. Academic space is totally different than corporate. I will tell you how. Most of the other universities, I will just give an example. Now, Walter Sisulu just said they will no longer consider professional designation, you see, as the only minimum requirements. Masters now, you see, there will be a requirement. And also in DUT, some academic staff, you see, where even, you see, they had unfortunate incident of being, you see, laid off because they didn't have masters. Unfortunately, when you get, in fact, maybe fortunately, you just have to accustom your mind, make sure that you are ready enough. When you join academics, be ready to study further. Be ready to get those masters. Be ready also to carry, if of course you are a person who is willing to be a professor one day, you have to do the PhD, then you become the true academic. Because there's something called academic writing. And I've noticed something that there's nothing that, in fact, that, which good word do I use? Yes, but I feel like there's nothing that intimidate us, chartered accountants, when you come to academic space like academic writing. You see, so we have to get too used to academic writing. It's not easy at all. Those literature reviews and all that, so it's not easy. So you have to try to get to that space and try to be comfortable in that space. Because unfortunately, university has three pillars, which is community engagement, teaching and learning, and research. So research becomes one of your pillars. Then one of the most important, aspect of you as an academic, and you must be involved in research because university is taken as a source of knowledge. So a source of knowledge that comes from the academics who are doing the research and contributing, of course, and in fact coming with a lot of solutions to and a lot of unanswered questions around the profession. Yes.
I've got a few extra questions, but there's a lot of questions coming through on the chat, so I rather want to get to those first so we don't miss them. We've got a question here from Gilbert who says, on your second attempt at CTA, what did you do differently to successfully pass?
All right. Thanks very much. Yes, I think I after I failed CAS, it was not the easiest. It was not the easiest, of course, holiday. December holidays. But I sat down and tried to work around on what exactly did I do wrong. But I noted that there was this course that I was passing so much in 2015. But can I tell you something? That course became my problem in 2016 when I was, in fact, repeating years. So I felt like there were two courses that I was failing, it was Manic and Text. Yes, so they will give me trouble. So I focused on the March second attempt, then at least, yes, so I was passing them. So they were no longer my problem. Only this one that I was passing so much 2015 became my problem. But at least I also passed at the end of the day, yes. So, but I think it's just a matter of doing self-evaluation, just knowing exactly why you failed, first of all, and trying to fix that on a daily basis. But second attempt, again, focus much on questions than theory, because you already have theory. From undergrad, you have theory. So just doing a lot of questions to get used to exam techniques, it assists a lot.
Okay, great. We've got a question from Siviwe, who says, he's a product of Walter Sisulu University CA program, loves what you're doing, and he was in a pilot program. He wants to know if you guys have started offering CTA.
Yes, no, I don't think I don't think not yet, not as yet. Yes, I don't think they are yet, because I still remember. But that question, of course, can be answered appropriately by person. In fact, let me explain something. At Walter Sisulu, there are four campuses. There are four sides. So we've got Mthatha side, we've got a BCC side, Komani side and IBICA side. So in all these sides, they are offering accounting. They're offering accounting. Then in Tata, they're offering accounting, a CTA stream. Then in other companies, they're offering accounting from diploma level to advanced diploma in accounting, yes. So I'm not really in Tata, I'm in Komani campus, where we're offering up to advanced diploma in accounting, yes.
And just interestingly for Sibiwe, Francis Kwahene did articles with me many years ago. So I know him from a good few years back. We've got a question from Anu who says, where do you see yourself after your PhD? That's a good question.
I see myself as I want to be a professor, to be honest. And one thing I told myself when I was growing up was that I didn't want to die as Mr. Phesa. So in fact, that's actually the reason I'm doing the PhD. So I want to do the PhD because I feel like I have to do it. I owe it to myself. And I also want to be a full professor. I see myself as full professor of the institution, maybe as a dean one day, you see, but of course, I see myself within the academic space. I don't see myself leaving academic space anytime soon.
Okay, that gives a good idea of your goals. And then we've got a question from Masibulele who wants to know, what is the least qualification you must have in order to be a junior lecturer?
Yes, I think for chartered accountants, for chartered accountants, if you are a chartered accountant, you get the opportunity already. But if you are not a chartered accountant, you need masters. I think masters is a minimum level, is a minimum qualification you should have currently to be able to enter the lecturing space. However, even other universities, I noted that they are saying, even at the university here, they are saying everyone should have at least the minimum masters because it shows that you're able to do research, it shows your ability to do research at a minimum level, of course. You see, unlike in PhD where you do full research and come with new knowledge. But I think masters, if you are not, but if you are CA, you will still get the job as the lecturer if you are chartered accountant, yes.
Okay.
There are still posts. I've seen some recently. And
then we've got a question from Lwandile. How do you manage the balance between lecturing, the PhD, and the family?
Yes, okay. I think I will just speak about last year, for example, yes, because last year I was doing masters and started in February. Then unfortunately I was done within a year. I think it's just a matter of trying to assign some time, making sure that I have enough time for my studies, enough time for work, and also enough time for the family. But what actually happens is that, to be honest with you, I believe a person who is in academic space would have more opportunity and more support when you're studying, more especially if you want to carry on with masters and PhD, than a person in corporate. So I didn't expect, for example, a person in corporate to be able to think to be done within a year, of course. You see, the fact that I'm in an academic environment, you see, it makes me being able to study. It makes me being able, also the support, you see, that I'm getting around within the university is different than the support a person would get, for example, in the audit environment. You're expected to complete the work, you're expected to sign off. You see, we have deadlines. It's unlike, you see, so at least I'm able to work on my schedule and be able to know these times aside. But of course, I should tell you that there are those sacrifices, those long weekends in library. You leave early, you come late, yes, but it's because, of course, you just want to pass the qualification.
And then we've got a question from Malit who says she's recently qualified as a CA, but she's been questioning what to study next. Okay. Thinking about an MBA. Did you do your master's before you registered for PhD? Okay, you did do your master's for your PhD. But what are your thoughts between, say, for example, an MBA and a master's in accounting?
Yes, I think it just depends. It just depends because, for example, MBA, I think I believe it's a program that's structured to in fact to empower you, maybe to give you skills to be able to manage a business one day. So if you see yourself as a top level executive in corporate world, or maybe in any business, of course, maybe being a CFO, I think you need those skills in MBA. However, if you want to be a specialist, for example, maybe in accounting, I'm a lecturer, so it's fine for me. It was fine for me to do PhD, masters in accounting, and also even PhD in accounting. So it's because I'm positioning myself as an academic and as a specialist because I need to specialize in particular area, of course, of which I chose accounting. Was too expensive for me. So, but I believe if you just need to know yourself and what you want to do. For example, if you want to, you see yourself as a chief executive, that chief executive officer, that CFO, you see, in listed company, you see, you can do MBA. But I think before you do it, you need to know exactly which qualification suits your future goals.
I notice it's mostly people who are in big corporates, especially listed companies, and they're aiming for that CEO position or the top management position. I find people that are in entrepreneurship, running their own business, they don't go MBA as much, because you almost learn on the go while you running that small business. So it's just an interesting perspective to go with.
Yes, and you also find out that sometimes those people who are in, because MBA also cost-wise, it's not cheap. It doesn't come as cheap, yes. So those people, for example, that are being groomed by the company is willing to pay for them. So maybe if you happen to be too lucky to be put in that program, then you do the MBA because you are being aligned to particular strategic position of the company. Then it works better that way. And also, even people who go as much as PhD, are those, I don't see a lot of people who are in corporate going as much as PhD. There are very few of them, of course. But maybe masters becomes maybe fine for some people. For example, you just want to have MPA, which is fine for you. Then you can only go for PhD, for example, because it's more appropriate for academic, for someone who wants to, if you've positioned yourself in such a way that you want to be academic or professor one day, then you can do PhD.
So I guess in summary, Millet, it depends what your long-term goal is, and then you can decide from there.
Yes.
We've got a question from Nkululeko who says, how do you plan your 24 hours in a day to ensure that you have work-life balance? It seems to come up a lot. So people are there seems to be a problem. You give us share your knowledge with us.
Yes. No, I think it actually comes from you. I just commit. You see, I just commit and make sure that every time that I get, more especially when it comes to research, you will know every second that you get, it counts. That 2 minutes, if you are thinking something that you are writing down, you see, it can count a lot. So I just make sure that when I get time, because sometimes you can sit all 6 hours without even getting a paragraph in academic writing, if you must write it properly. Yes. It's just a matter of making sure that every time that I get, I make sure I put my full effort. Of course, there is work. So I need to make sure that I'm not, I'm still in time with my classes, my students are marked, and everything is fine. Yes, and work administratively and everything. Yes, there are also still university activities that needs to be done. It's not just about teaching and learning, community engagement, and also research, and also studying. Yes, but I just always make sure that my studies, I make sure I make time for my studies. It's what I always say, that everyone should always make time for their studies. You cannot register for the course, then you see, don't commit. So you need to commit. So I think it's just around commitment. I try to commit and make sure that I make time for my studies, for my work, and for everything. Yes.
That's very true. And I think CAs in general should always be learning. I mean, don't necessarily need to be studying an official degree, but you should be always improving your skills somehow. Listening to podcasts, doing something to improve yourself.
Yes, the actual saying is a lifelong learning. Yes, so you learn forever. Because anyway, if you are a CA, you're always getting challenged every day with new information, new standards. So you need to be learning every day. Yes.
He wants to know if you ever get enough sleep. Sounds like you.
Yes, you try to, because what actually happens is that even if you don't sleep 3 days, you see, so you try to make sure at least you get enough full sleep at least a day, so you sleep full 12 hours, because your body needs to relax as well for you to have energy and be able to carry on. And when you get those reviews from the supervisor, it will take you a week even before you start addressing them. Because sometimes you find out that they need you to do, to correct something which is significantly, or which is not just a minor thing on your study. Then you have to make sure that you make time for that. But sometimes, of course, you need to get the energy and get back. Think about the end goal and what you want to achieve at the end of the day. Thank you.
Got a question from Makaba, who says he's doing articles and he's studying. He says it's a lot. Doesn't have time to study. Most of the time he finishes work at 9 and he's tired. He needs advice so that he can stay up to date with his schoolwork. Do you have any advice? Because sometimes weekends he's traveling to clients and sometimes working on weekends because his clients are all over the country. Any advice for Makaba?
Yes. I think same happened to me, and it actually happens to a lot of people who are studying, you see, while they are doing their articles. First of all, it's not easy. It's not easy at all, because you have to put time for your studies and also make sure that your work is not compromised. You want to get competencies. You want to be signed off. You don't want to get bad rating at work. So you want to make sure that your work is not compromised at the same time, your studies also. I think it's just a matter of making sure that you've got a timetable. That 1 hour that you spend, that 2 hours that you spend, in a good day, you spend 2 hours, you spend 3 hours. You see, but just make sure that maybe you focus on courses. For example, what I used to do was also used to travel to the municipalities. You travel Sunday, then you'll come back Friday, so you work overtime sometimes. So just make sure each and every day you invest some time in your studies. For example, you make sure on Monday you tackle accounting, for example. I try always tell Monday it's accounting, Tuesday it's so no matter what happens, if I come back at 9, I will sleep at 11 because at that 10, I must at least get an hour for my studies. So just always make sure that your studies also, you see, you put time for them. You get time for them because it's your studies. At the end of the day, you will not feel happy at the end of the day when you failed at the end of the year. So please make sure you put that extra hour for your studies.
Agreed. And there's no point making half an effort every year and failing every year. Rather, write off a year and give it everything for that year. You can apologize for missing functions for 1 year. You can go to the functions next year as a CA or as a qualified CA. Don't worry. Rather sacrifice 1 year properly and go for it.
Exactly. And you will never do that 1 year again in your life. If you pass the CTA, you'll never do CA again.
Yeah. That's very true. That's very true. It looks like those are the last few questions that have come through. Okay. I want to just check a few things with you. What is one piece of advice you would give your younger self?
I think, what is it? Not an easy one. Not easy. Okay. Oh, that I would give my younger self, eh?
Yes, your younger self.
Okay. I think follow your dreams. Follow your dreams and not give up on yourself. Yes. And also learning from others and also respecting other professions. I will just tell you something. The fact that sometimes you are CA, it starts from the university, the fact that we carry those big books, those big standards, you see. So we tend to forget about the environment around us. We focus so much in our studies. So we get to ignore a lot of important issues that are social, that are political in nature. You see, the political is the environment around us. We focus so much. Now you are this chartered accountant that is not political aware what's going on in environment. That is not social aware what's going on. So you are living in a silo. You are earning that salary, which is first salary, which is good. Yes, because you worked hard for it. But we tend to forget now the environment we should live in. So I would give myself that advice, that also respect people of who, in fact, who they are, not what they are, and also know that I think in life we need each other anyway, even in professions. You see, as much as the CA needs, as much as the lawyer needs the CA also needs the lawyer and the auditor. So I think that's advice I would give myself.
Okay, I think. And any last few words from you, or anything that we didn't discuss that you'd like the audience to know?
I think one thing I would give just one advice for the newly qualified. Being qualified as a chartered accountant, I mean, it's so overwhelming. You become very happy. You see, that's very good. But I challenge the newly qualified to go through a self-discovery process where you figure out exactly what you want to do. It should never be about money. It should never be about, but it should be exactly your passion. Try to align what you do daily with your passion so that you will not be bored at the end of the day. It will not matter. So it will be a matter of moving the ranks within that profession. For example, if you want to be in corporate. You see, if you see yourself there, move for it. And also, lately there are these international companies. People are moving abroad. So it's so tempting sometimes. You want to move abroad. You see, there are opportunities for CAs here. I also even once read an article saying CAs are leaving South Africa. It's so tempting, yes. But I want to say, follow your heart. You can be anything. With the training, of course, that we get in any firm, you see, it doesn't matter which firm. The training that we get, we have all the skills. We can be anything. And the CA is not limiting at all. So now I believe it when, in fact, I'm living it. I understand when they say you can be anything for a CA. You can be a teacher, you can be a lecturer, you can be anything, you see, and you can open your own business as well. And go for that. Go for that goal that you want to be. If you want to work in an international company, you want to work for that, go for it, apply, say yes. Those are my last statement. Thanks. Thank you.
I think that's a great way to end. You can be anything if you are a CA. The show has been live on YouTube and should be available on the podcast by tomorrow. If you're watching on YouTube or listening on the podcast and you feel that it's added value, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click on that notification bell so that you get automatically notified when the next episode comes out. Masibulele, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thanks very much to you, sir, also for the invite, and thanks also for the viewers. I mean, for joining the show. Thank you.
Thanks everyone for joining us for another episode of Two Ways to Skin a Cat. Goodbye.